Make these videos because of the fascination I have for the mystical and the esoteric and the phenomenons of life. There's just so much available, and we live in such a small spectrum of it, and there's so much more to explore. And so I explore it in talking about it. And so I would define mysticism as it's a spiritual thing. It's ontological thing. And asking what is our origin and asking the fundamental questions about our existence and what we're doing here and how to move through this space. What's interesting is part of being a mystic, or, it's a loose term. It's like there's all kinds of witches, there's all kinds of mystics, right? Well, I don't want to give away my faith in any case to anything, and only interface with that which is visible and I can recognize and perceive. Because giving away my faith to ideologies, it's letting those ideologies dictate the narrative. And I don't want an external narrative. I want to be able to choose my own adventure. And so that's one of the things I talk about on this channel, is choosing our own adventure, and the challenge with doing that in this world, and the things that just seem to persist and prevail even though we've been choosing a different way. It keeps going back to like a heartache, heartbreak kind of thing. And yeah, it's good to experience that, but there's other things we should be experiencing, like not just that. And there's just so much of that. There's so much heaviness here. But I've had days of wonder and enlightenment and just a lightening of my being. And I know that exists. And I'm learning to choose and operate and orient myself in that way. So I'm not burdened down by things and let go of these things that are burdening me. I just need to recognize what those are. Or things that have attached to me. Because it often feels like that. Like on my bad days, I feel like there's some other force like eating away at something, or like feeding on my essence. Like the Skeksis in the Dark Crystal. If you ever watched that Jim Henson. It's an incredible story and production, and the lore involved. That's part of being a mystic, is being attracted to the aesthetic of the lore, and being in a state of wonder around all that, and exploring it and appreciating it, and seeing the value in the creativity, and feeling the felt presence of that imaginative place that's been developed and created. And as someone I consider myself mystical, I like to hear other people's stories of other worlds they've been. And I also like to practice creating my own, practice with my own imagination. And I could create a world. I've started a lot of stories before, thinking I could write a book. It's just really hard to keep going long term, and I hope to one day have the patience and wherewithal to do that. Perhaps one day I'll have the space to be able to do that. It's just kind of hard in a shared environment, as far as my creativity, unless those people in my environment are also working towards the same creativity with me. in a collaborative, copacetic kind of way. And in this day and age, I just can't really afford that. Afford to have my own place. So it's a little bit challenging for me, but one day I hope to have my own space to be able to do that, and also have my own space to be able to reset and just get away from other things, whereas other people have their own, I don't know how to describe it, but it interferes with sometimes the vibe of where I'm at and where I'm at in life. And it's like, you're home and I have that going, and then like someone just walks in my house and like, but they live there. So I know a lot of you have been there and know what that's like. They're good folks though. I'm someone that's has a need for a certain amount of solitary time, and I don't always get to choose when that is. But on my social days where I'm really socially functional, I'm totally good. But other days I really struggle with that, and I'm always practicing and growing and trying to be stronger and withstand more, even though I don't really want to experience a lot of the things and the vibes that I've been experiencing, but I push through it. I try to power through, make the most of the circumstance. But I tell you, the disposition I'm at is not what I would choose. And it will be interesting years from now what will